They told you this is your first life, that you began here, that everything you are, your fears, your wounds, your desires, your instincts, your strengths, all came from this lifetime only. From childhood, from experience, from psychology. But if that were true, why do you carry memories you never lived? Why do certain places feel familiar even when you've never stepped foot there? Why do some people feel like reunions instead of introductions? Why do your deepest fears have no origin? Why do your strongest gifts appear without training? Why do you grieve losses you've never had? Why do you love things you were never taught? Why do certain eras, cultures, symbols, or languages stir something ancient inside you? And why, in your quietest moments, does a part of you whisper, "I've been here before"? You weren't crazy. You weren't imagining it. You were remembering. The biggest lie humanity absorbed was that the soul begins at birth. Birth is not the beginning. Birth is an entry point, a doorway, a continuation of a much older story your mind cannot hold but your soul cannot forget. Everything you are today is shaped far more by who you've been than by what you've lived in this single lifetime. And deep down, something in you already knows that. The first crack in the illusion. Think about this. You came into this world with a personality, not developed, present, as if preloaded. You had tendencies before you had language, preferences before you had memory, fear responses before you had trauma, curiosities before you had identity, wisdom before you had experience. Where did all of that come from? Science calls it innate disposition. Religion calls it God's design. Psychology calls it temperament. But the ancient world, the mystical world, the esoteric traditions called it what it truly is. Soul memory, not memory of moments, memory of identity. Memory of self carried across lifetimes like invisible luggage. This is why certain paths feel natural, why certain lessons repeat, why certain relationships feel karmic, why certain wounds feel ancient, why certain choices feel predestined, why certain fears feel older than your body. You are not new, you are not singular, you are not starting from zero. You are a continuation, a fragment of a long lineage of selves you used to be, each one leaving an imprint on the one you are now. The lie that kept you small. Why does society insist you only live once? Because a person who believes they only have one life will accept limitation. They will accept fear. They will accept pressure. They will accept authority. They will accept smallness. They will accept separation. But a person who knows they are an ancient consciousness carrying lifetimes of memory, they become uncontrollable. They begin to ask questions that dismantle the system. Why am I drawn to certain people instantly? Why do some lessons repeat no matter what? Why do I feel older than my age? Why do I sense purpose I can't explain? Why does intuition feel like remembering? Why do I experience déjà vu so intensely? Why do I wake from dreams that feel like past lives? These questions break the illusion that this life is all there is. And the moment that illusion cracks, your conscious sovereignty returns. Because you can no longer be manipulated by fear of endings when you understand you have lived 1,000 beginnings. The moment you realize you are not just you. There have been times in your life, moments you never talk about, when something inside you shifted for no apparent reason. Moments when you reacted too strongly or too quickly or too intensely. Moments when you knew exactly how to do something you had never learned. Moments when you sensed a danger no one else could feel. Moments when you loved someone faster than logic allowed. Moments when you broke down because a situation felt too familiar in a way you couldn't explain. Those weren't overreactions. Those weren't coincidences. Those weren't irrational emotional responses. Those were echoes, ripples, memories bleeding through the veil from lives you've lived before. You're not overly sensitive. You're remembering trauma from a lifetime your brain didn't experience, but your soul did. You're not naturally talented. You're reactivating skills you mastered long before your birth. You're not destined for patterns. You're replaying karmic loops so you can finally break them. This life is not isolated. This life is connected to everything you've ever been. The moment the veil begins to lift, let yourself feel this. There is a reason certain people arrive in your life like destiny. They've been here before, with you, in another form, another age, another story. There is a reason you're drawn to specific places. You've stood on those grounds in a lifetime. Your mind doesn't remember, but your soul refuses to forget. There is a reason your dreams feel like history, because they are. Dreams are the soul's memories playing out in symbolic form when your waking identity finally loosens its grip. There is a reason déjà vu feels like time folding, because in that moment, your past self and your present self align perfectly. You are not a blank slate. You are a palimpsest, a manuscript written over and over with traces of every story still visible if you look closely enough. Your fears, your gifts, your patterns, your intuition, they didn't begin here. They traveled here. And that truth alone is enough to shatter everything you thought you were. The hook complete. You are not the beginning of your story. You are the latest chapter of a soul that has lived through centuries, eras, civilizations, timelines, bodies, lessons, loves, losses, and rebirths. You have lived before. And this lifetime, whether you realize it or not, is the continuation of a much older mission. Now that you've felt the truth crack open, you're ready to enter the forbidden archives. Welcome to Part 2, Hidden Knowledge Reveal. In the ancient world, past lives were not superstition. They were not belief. They were memory, a remembering the soul carried even when the mind forgot. Every civilization that studied the nature of consciousness, Egyptian, Vedic, Tibetan, Greek, Mayan, described the same forbidden truth. The soul does not begin in this lifetime. It arrives with its history and initiates. Those who sought hidden wisdom were trained not to believe in past lives, but to remember them. Tonight, you become one of those initiates. Let's open the vaults. A. The Egyptian scrolls. The Ka never dies. In the temples of Kem, where Thoth was keeper of sacred knowledge, the soul was not a single entity. It was a multi-layered consciousness. Ketya, the life force that continued after death. Ba, the personal essence capable of travel. Ach, the enlightened self. Ren, the secret name carried across lifetimes. Priests taught that when a person died, the body fell, but the Ka and Ba merely changed form and chose a new vessel. Nothing was lost. Nothing was erased. Your tendencies, your fears, your intuition, these were known as the echoes of the Ba. The Egyptians did not ask, do past lives exist? They asked, which ones are influencing you now? And if you've ever felt pulled by places, haunted by memories you never lived, or shaped by wounds with no clear origin, your Ba has already been speaking. B. The Emerald Tablets. The soul walks many realms. In the Emerald Tablets, Thoth reveals a line most modern readers skip over. Many lives have I lived, and many have been the forms I have taken. He describes traveling through worlds and bodies, not metaphorically, but as literal phases of soul evolution. Thoth says, the soul moves like a traveler through dimensions, incarnating again and again to refine its consciousness and expand its remembrance. The tablets describe the soul as a continuum, not a singular story. You are that continuum. And the reason you feel ancient in a world obsessed with novelty is because part of you remembers what your body cannot. See the Vedic doctrine, vasanas and samskaras. In the Vedic tradition, the soul carries vasanas, karmic tendencies, and samskaras, imprints from past lifetimes. These imprints shape your fears, your attractions, your emotional reactions, your natural abilities, your relationships, your purpose, your recurring challenges. The ancient seers taught that the soul chooses the exact family, body, and environment that will activate the next lessons it must face, not punishment, refinement, not fate, selection. Your soul chose this lifetime because something you carried needed to be resolved, remembered, healed, or reactivated. If you feel called to certain paths, it's not inspiration, it's memory. D. The Tibetan Bardo texts, the unbroken continuum. In Tibetan mysticism, the soul moves through the Bardo realms, intermediate states between lifetimes. Your consciousness reviews everything. Your choices, your karma, your attachments, your unfinished lessons. Then, guided by resonance, it moves into a new incarnation that mirrors the energetic state it reached. Not punishment, not reward, just alignment. The Tibetans say, the next life is shaped by the last emotion you held at the moment of death. This is why certain fears feel ancient, why certain desires feel destined, why your emotional reactions are disproportionate to your experiences. They are not from this lifetime. They are unfinished echoes from the one before. E. The Greek Mysteries, remembering who you once were. The Greek philosopher Pythagoras claimed to remember 10 of his previous incarnations, in vivid detail. He was not dismissed as delusional. He was initiated into the mystery schools where remembrance was cultivated deliberately. Initiates were taught that déjà vu, irrational fear, instant attraction, unexplained wisdom, recurring dreams, sudden recognition, karmic relationships, all came from the soul's previous journeys. The Greeks believed the soul entered the body with memory intentionally concealed, not erased. You forget consciously, but you remember subconsciously. This is why past life memories bleed through in dreams, intuition, or déjà vu when your guard is lowered. The Mayan night travelers. The soul walks far from the body. The Maya believed the soul has multiple forms. One of them, the Wayob, travels to other realms during sleep and sometimes revisits past incarnations. Why do some of your dreams feel historical? Why do they feel like you are someone else, yet still you? Because in the dream state, your waking identity dissolves and your deeper identity rises. The part of you that has lived before moves freely without the limitation of a physical body. The Maya called these experiences remembrance journeys. You call them dreams, but they are the same phenomenon. The Hermetic teaching hidden in plain sight. As above, so below. Hermeticism teaches that your inner world, the above, shapes your outer world, the below. This applies not just to emotion or thought, but to identity. Your past life imprints shape your reality in this lifetime. Your triggers, your intuition, your passions, your talents, your patterns, your shadows, your destiny. As above, so below means your unseen history becomes your seen experience. Nothing emerges from nowhere. Everything comes from somewhere. Everything has lineage. Everything has memory, including you, especially you. The forbidden teaching. The soul does not travel alone. All ancient cultures agreed on this. Souls reincarnate in groups. Your lovers, your enemies, your mentors, your rivals. They aren't random. They're familiar. They've walked with you before. Sometimes to help you, sometimes to challenge you, sometimes to complete unfinished karmic contracts. This is why some people feel like destiny, warning, déjà vu, home, unfinished story, instant connection, inexplicable fear. Your soul recognizes them long before your mind does. This lifetime is not the first chapter of your relationship with them. It is the continuation. The veil is thinning. Now you can feel the truth. Your soul's history is not gone. It is simply hidden behind the veil of the present lifetime. Your patterns, your gifts, your wounds, your intuition, they are not random. They are the fingerprints of who you used to be. And if you're ready, we can now decode how past lives shape your identity, your timeline, your emotional architecture, your destiny, your karmic loops, your intuition, your fears, your gifts, your relationships, and why remembering this changes everything. Welcome to Part 3, Cosmic Mechanism Explained. Past lives aren't poetic ideas. They aren't fantasy. They aren't spiritual fiction. They are energetic mechanics. They follow laws. Laws as structured as gravity, as consistent as vibration, as measurable as frequency, as precise as the quantum field. Everything you carry from other lifetimes follows a system, a blueprint, a multi-life architecture written into your consciousness. Let's decode how this actually works. 1. The soul doesn't remember. It never forgets. Your mind forgets. Your body forgets. Your brain forgets. But your consciousness, the non-physical part, stores everything. Every lifetime leaves behind emotional imprints, vibrational patterns, unresolved trauma, instinctive talents, karmic bonds, soul contracts, unfinished desires, identity fragments, stored memories. These imprints don't vanish after death. They are encoded in the light body, the energetic field that survives physical dissolution. The light body equals your consciousness in raw form. It's the same body that enters your dreams, that experiences astral travel, that reincarnates with you, that carries your soul memory. This is why a child can display wisdom that seems impossible for their age. The consciousness is old. The physical form is new. 2. Past life imprints are stored as vibration. Your soul doesn't store memories as images. It stores them as frequency fields. Meaning, fear becomes a contraction pattern. Talent becomes a resonance pattern. Trauma becomes a density. Unresolved karma becomes a loop. Desire becomes a magnetic pull. Relationships become entanglements. Lessons become energetic structure. When you reincarnate, you don't bring the story. You bring the vibration. That vibration shapes your personality, intuition, emotional triggers, instincts, attractions, aversions, natural gifts, subconscious beliefs. This is why some situations feel charged to you, even when it's your first time experiencing them. You're responding to the frequency, not the event. 3. Past lives affect your current life through the quantum field. Your consciousness doesn't live inside the brain. It interfaces with the brain, but exists in the quantum layer, the same layer where timelines interact, intuition emerges, dreams unfold, synchronicities appear, manifestation is triggered. Each past life is a stored quantum signature in this field. Think of it like a library. Every lifetime is a book. Your current identity is just the book you're reading now, but the entire library is still inside you. When something in this life matches the frequency of a past life chapter, that chapter activates. This is the source of déjà vu, irrational fear, instant trust, instant dislike, soul recognition, spontaneous memory, sudden emotional overwhelm, inexplicable clarity. A past life frequency collides with a present moment, and the memory opens. Not the story, the feeling. 4. Trauma does not die with the body. You don't start over, you continue. If a past life ended with betrayal, abandonment, drowning, confinement, violence, heartbreak, that emotional charge becomes a karmic imprint stored in your soul field. This is why you fear water without cause. Claustrophobia appears with no origin. Trust issues exist without betrayal. Heartbreak wounds appear early in life. Anxiety emerges from nowhere. These aren't character flaws, they are energetic residues. Trauma is not psychological, it's vibrational, and vibration reincarnates. 5. Talents travel across lifetimes. Gifts don't start in childhood, they reappear. When a child plays instruments effortlessly, paints like an old master, understands math intuitively, speaks like a philosopher, heals with empathy, senses energy naturally. This is not prodigy, it is memory. The talent was printed into their energetic architecture long before birth. Past life skill, present life intuition. You didn't learn it, you remembered it. 6. Relationships are karmic entanglements, not random meetings. When two souls connect deeply, those connections don't dissolve at death. They persist in the quantum layer like energetic threads. The Hermeticists called these bindings of resonance. You reincarnate with soulmates, karmic partners, teachers, rivals, unfinished contracts, unbalanced energies, shared missions. This is why some people feel familiar instantly. Some relationships feel ancient. Some connections feel heavy. Some feel destined. Some feel like déjà vu. Some trigger you deeply. Some awaken you. Some complete you. Some destroy illusions in you. Souls do not meet by coincidence. They meet by continuity. 7. Past lives shape your timeline through the observer effect. Here is the metaphysical physics. The observer effect states that consciousness collapses potential into a single outcome. But the state of the observer affects what outcome collapses. If your consciousness carries imprint of abandonment, shame, powerlessness, failure, loss, then your timeline aligns with situations that resonate with those vibrations. This isn't fate, it's magnetism. Likewise, if you carry mastery, wisdom, strength, compassion, leadership, resilience, your life naturally moves toward opportunities where those qualities amplify. Your timeline is not random, it is a mirror of your accumulated soul field. Your past life identity literally influences what you attract, repel, and manifest. 8. Déjà vu is not glitch, it is alignment. Déjà vu happens when your present action matches a past life pattern at the same vibration, collapsing across timelines. It is not error, it is recognition. A moment repeating because your soul has lived a parallel version of it. Déjà vu, our timeline intersection plus soul memory activation. Your soul is saying, we've been here. 9. Dreams are the bridge between lifetimes. The dream state is not fantasy, it is access. During sleep, the ego dissolves, identity weakens, linear time collapses, the subconscious opens, the quantum field becomes louder. This is when past life memories surface as symbols or as literal scenes that feel more real than waking life. If you've ever dreamed of a different era, with a different body, speaking another language, living another story, knowing places you've never been, those aren't dreams, those are retrievals. Dreams are where the past life library becomes readable. 10. Intuition is the voice of all your past selves. What you call a gut feeling is not instinct and not random biology. It is the collective intelligence of every version of you that has ever existed speaking at once. Intuition echoes the soul's multi-lifetime navigation system. It warns you, guides you, protects you, aligns you based on everything you've learned across centuries of existence. You are never thinking alone. You are thinking with the wisdom of dozens, maybe hundreds of lifetimes. 11. Your purpose is not new, it's recurring. Purpose is not created, purpose is recalled. What you are drawn to in this life is almost always the continuation of a mission you carried before. Healer souls reincarnate as healers. Teacher souls reincarnate as teachers. Creators reincarnate as creators. Rebels reincarnate as rebels. Wisdom keepers reincarnate as wisdom keepers. Your deepest calling is the echo of a past life identity trying to reemerge. You are not starting your purpose. You are continuing it. The cosmic conclusion. Past lives aren't mystical stories. They are energetic mechanics. They follow laws. Vibration stores memory. Memory shapes identity. Identity shapes timeline. Timeline shapes destiny. You don't carry your past lives as history. You carry them as frequency. And that frequency shapes every decision, every relationship, every fear, every gift, every attraction, every synchronicity, every trigger, every dream, every intuition, every timeline you experience now. Now that you understand the mechanism, you're ready for the next stage. Breaking the illusions that keep you disconnected from your own soul's history. Welcome to Part 4, Deprogramming Turn. You've been taught to fear your own depth, to distrust your own memories, to shrink from your intuition, to ignore the parts of you that feel ancient, and above all, you were trained to believe that you only live once. Because a person who thinks they have one life can be controlled by fear, but a person who knows they are eternal, that they have lived before, learned before, fought before, died before, and risen again, that person becomes impossible to manipulate. This is why the system had to erase reincarnation, not because it wasn't real, but because it made you powerful. Let's dismantle the programming that kept you small. Program number 1. Your life started at birth. This lie was the first cage. The moment you believe you started here, you become disconnected from who you truly are. You start asking questions like, why am I like this? Why do I feel older than my age? Why do I react so intensely? Why am I drawn to certain places? Why do I have fears I can't explain? And instead of guiding you inward, they told you to move on, forget it. It's just your personality. It's trauma from this life. No, some of your wounds aren't from this life. Some of your gifts aren't from this life. Some of your wisdom isn't from this life. Some of your shadows aren't from this life. Some of your instincts aren't from this life. You didn't start at zero. You arrived with a library. And your entire life changes when you stop pretending your soul is new. Program number 2, your personality is created by your environment. This is the second deception. Yes, environment shapes you, but not all of you. If personality came only from this lifetime, 2 children raised in the same home would have identical fears, values, instincts, desires, emotional patterns, talents. But they don't, because they didn't start the same. They arrived different. The psychological world calls it temperament, a neutral word used to hide a deeper truth. Temperament is past life residue, the emotional blueprint you brought into this world. You weren't shaped into who you are. You were revealed. Program number 3, you only have one purpose. This belief keeps you trapped in anxiety. If you think you only get one lifetime, you panic, you rush, you force timelines, you judge yourself for not being enough. You fear making mistakes. But a soul that has lived many lives is not here to get everything right. It's here to continue a mission, not complete it. Your purpose wasn't born in this body. It's a thread that began long ago. You're not starting anything. You're continuing something. This lifetime is just the next chapter in a long, ancient story you're still writing. Once you understand that, the pressure dissolves and clarity emerges. Program number 4, trauma is psychological, not spiritual. This is one of the most damaging programs. They told you, your fears are irrational, your triggers are emotional, your patterns are childhood, your anxiety is random, your panic has no origin, your heartbreaks are from this lifetime only. But the truth is darker and much more liberating. Your trauma did not start here. You carry the drowning, the betrayal, the abandonment, the loss, the imprisonment, the failure, the violence, the heartbreak from lives your mind has never seen. And your body reacts as if it is happening again because trauma does not die with the body. It travels through the soul. Once you realize your pain has history instead of randomness, healing becomes possibility, not confusion. Program number 5, your relationships are random. This is the lie that keeps you repeating cycles. Because if you believe people come into your life by accident you never recognize. Karmic partners, soul contracts, past life lovers, unfinished lessons, mirrored wounds. karmic debts, soul family connections, role reversals across lifetimes. You think you fell in love by chance. You didn't. You recognize someone you've known before. You think someone hurt you unexpectedly. They didn't. They reopened the wound that was already yours. You think someone saved your life. Maybe they've done it before. Your soul does not meet strangers. Every important person in your life has been in your story long before this lifetime. Program number 6, intuition is a gut feeling. This keeps you blind. They reduce intuition to something biological, a survival mechanism, an ancient brain glitch. But intuition is not a feeling, it is memory. The voice inside you that warns, guides, pulls, and pushes, that is the collective intelligence of every version of you speaking at once. You're not following a gut. You're following the wisdom of dozens of lifetimes overlaid into one whisper. You don't sense danger randomly. You remember danger. You don't trust someone instantly. You recognize them. You don't feel drawn to a path. You've walked it before. Intuition is your past selves trying to protect your current one. Program number 7, your fears are irrational. This is how they silence you. But fear is not irrational. Fear is encoded memory. Fear of water equals drowning memory. Fear of tight spaces equals buried or confined. Fear of abandonment equals previous loss. Fear of conflict equals previous violence. Fear of failure equals previous downfall. Fear of exposure equals previous betrayal. You're not afraid of nothing. You're afraid of remembering. Once you realize your fear is historical, not personal, you stop treating yourself like a broken machine. You begin treating yourself like an ancient traveler carrying old wounds. Program number 8, this life is all that matters. This belief keeps you small. If this life is all there is, you cling tightly. You fear change. You avoid risk. You try to control everything. You treat death like an ending. You treat purpose like a deadline. But if you know you've lived before and you will live again, then nothing can threaten you. Not failure, not judgment, not timelines, not death. This life becomes an experience, not a sentence. A choice, not a cage. A continuation, not a test. When you realize this, you stop living out of fear and start living out of expansion. The turning point. When the program dies and the soul speaks, here is the truth that ends the programming. You are not a human trying to have a spiritual experience. You are a soul having a human one. You are not defined by this lifetime. You are expressed through it. And the moment you reclaim the continuity of your existence, the illusion collapses. You feel it, don't you? Something inside you has always known you didn't begin here. Something ancient, something watchful, something patient, something tired, something wise, something powerful. That part of you is waking up again. You are not the result of 20, 30, or 40 years of experience. You are the result of centuries of evolution. Your wounds aren't new, your wisdom isn't new, your mission isn't new, your destiny isn't new. This life is not your beginning, it's your remembering. And now that the lies have been dismantled and the veil has been lifted, you are finally ready. Ready to claim the identity you carried before this body existed. Ready to activate the lineage that has always lived within you. Ready to step into the consciousness that no lifetime could ever erase. Welcome to Part 5, Activation Call. Close your eyes, not to escape this world, but to return to the one inside you. Because right now, something ancient in you is stirring. Something older than your name, older than your body, older than this lifetime. This is the moment your soul steps forward again. You have not come here to learn who you are. You have come here to remember who you've been. Every instinct, every fear, every gift, every dream, every déjà vu, every pull, every inexplicable knowing, they are not random. They are memory. They are continuity. They are the thread of the eternal you stretching across lifetimes. And tonight, the thread is lighting up again. The first activation, I am an ancient soul. Say it inwardly. Let it move through your chest like a slow pulse. I'm an ancient soul, because you are. You have lived as healer, warrior, poet, mystic, lover, rebel, seeker, roles forgotten by the mind but still alive in the consciousness behind it. Your age is not measured in years. Your age is measured in lifetimes. And the moment you claim this truth, you stop acting like a beginner in your own existence. You rise differently. You walk differently. You choose differently. You love differently. You trust differently. You remember yourself. The second activation, nothing I feel is new. Whisper this to your deeper self. Nothing I feel is new. Your deepest fears didn't start here. Your strongest gifts didn't start here. Your sharpest intuition didn't start here. Your strangest dreams didn't start here. Your soul has lived through wars, losses, awakenings, miracles, deaths, rebirths, experiences that shape the emotional gravity you carry today. Once you understand this, You stop blaming yourself for the intensity of your reactions and start recognizing them as the echoes of a much older story. Your emotions are ancient. Your instincts are ancient. Your wisdom is ancient. And honoring that is the beginning of liberation. The third activation. I listen to the memory in me. Feel this as a promise. I listen to the memory in me because your soul is always speaking. Through intuition, synchronicity, fear, desire, dreams, and the mysterious sense of knowing without knowing why. When you listen, your life begins aligning with the version of you that has already lived through these lessons. You stop acting from survival and start acting from wisdom, multi-lifetime wisdom. Your choices become clearer. Your sense of direction sharpens. Your boundaries strengthen. Your purpose reveals itself as something familiar, something remembered, something inevitable. The fourth activation, what returns guides me. Repeat softly. What returns guides me. People who return in your life carry meaning. Emotions that return carry history. Dreams that return carry messages. Patterns that return carry lessons. Interests that return carry purpose. Signs that return carry direction. Your soul uses repetition as navigation, because what repeats is what is ready to be understood, healed, or reclaimed. When you follow what returns, your timeline shifts from unconscious cycles to conscious evolution. The fifth activation. I honor my soul's continuity. Say this with the reverence you deserve. I honor my soul's continuity. You are not a disconnected being searching for meaning. You are a continuous being rediscovering your power. Every lifetime you have lived is still inside you. The healer who knew how to soothe, the leader who knew how to guide, the mystic who knew how to see, the artist who knew how to create, the warrior who knew how to endure, the lover who knew how to feel, the seeker who knew how to ascend. These identities are not gone. They are dormant, waiting, breathing, ready to rise again through the vessel of who you are now. When you honor the continuity of your soul, your confidence becomes unshakable, because you stop acting like someone with one life to figure out and start acting like someone with centuries of wisdom backing every step. The sixth activation. I trust the path my soul remembers. Let this line anchor itself into your chest. I trust the path my soul remembers. Your purpose is not random. Your attraction is not random. Your pain is not random. Your talents are not random. Your gifts are not random. Your intuition is not random. Your life is shaped by the momentum of everything you've lived before. And when you trust this, fear loses its power. Because you realize you are never acting alone, never choosing alone, never healing alone, never awakening alone. You are guided by every lifetime you have ever lived, a chorus of past selves lifting the current self forward. The final activation. I carry my ancestral self into this life. Breathe deeply. Feel the line expand inside you. I carry my ancestral self into this life. Your soul is your ancestor. You are your own lineage. You are your own heritage. You are the result of every version of you who refused to give up, refused to stop evolving, refused to stop seeking truth. Stand in that power. Because you are not 25, you are not 32, you are not 41. You are thousands of years old moving inside a single human body. And when you walk through life with that awareness, that gravity, that memory, that identity, you become unstoppable. You stop living small. You stop living afraid. You stop living disconnected. You step into the fullness of your eternal self. The closing remembrance. You did not begin here, and you will not end here. This lifetime is not the whole story. It is a chapter, a bridge, a continuation, a remembering. Your soul has carried wisdom across centuries to reach this moment. Now it's your turn to rise with it. Tonight, as you fall asleep, you will feel it. The echo, the pull, the familiarity. The part of you that has lived many lives and is finally ready to be known again. You are not new, you are eternal, and you are awakening to yourself.